Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Reasonably Effective podcast. I'm Dan Types, as I was joined by Uncommon Fossil.
Hello, glad to be here today.
Yep, and today we are talking about Pokemon TCG Live, everyone's favorite or least favorite topic, because there's some stuff going on with it. Nothing immediately crazy, but there's some stuff that I feel like we kind of want to talk about here. We're specifically talking about it today kind of in regards to Phantasmal Flames, not really the set itself, but updates going on with it, like the new trainer trial schedule. But Uncommon Fossil, what are your experiences been with Live since the new set slash update?
Since the Phantasmal Flames, it's been okay. Yeah, I haven't had run into any new bugs myself, so it's been fine. I mean, it's live. It's always a little buggy, but nothing new to report for me.
Yeah, for me, I've had two bugs, but the one's been a bug for a while. I'm assuming you're familiar with the bug where it's like a card, generally like an EX, is like overlaid on top of like another card or something, right? Like,
I almost never. I've seen that only maybe once or twice ever, so I don't really see that, but I know
okay,
it
I see.
exists.
Yeah, it's kind of subtle. It's like weird. It's not like an issue. Then the other one, this one's like a new one for me that I've been seeing a lot, which is another visual glitch on my opponent's side of the board. I believe on their bench Pokemon, generally on EXs or higher rarity, like Pokemon,
Hmm.
they're like darker, like almost they have like a shadow over them or something.
Oh,
It's like kind of subtle. But yeah, I've been seeing it. I'm not really sure. I looked quickly in the forums and didn't see anyone else mention it. It's not like a big deal, but
well,
it's also kind of weird.
Well, what I'll say regarding that is I think two things for myself. One, sometimes it is hard to read cards, so I might be getting some of these bugs and just not knowing it. But the other thing is they're always messing, updating the visual effects, and I think some of the visual effects that they put on things make the cards hard to read. So, I mean, to me, when it's something like that, I probably assume that they just update it so it's harder to read the cards, which seems to be part of their thing.
Yeah, I feel like specifically regarding like ace specs, um they're really bright in a way that's
Yeah.
kind of hard to read. I would say it's not a huge deal, but also I mean, for a while they've had they always like to change the visuals, and
Yeah.
they're often, I'd say, side grades on average, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. When I say sometimes for the worse, like sometimes we've seen them cause, I mean, we're talking about bugs, some are like literal performance issues as well.
Right. Right, and sometimes it's just visual. Like I think recently I was noticing the dragon type Pokemon people play and the darkness type Pokemon essentially look this color wise or looking the same. Like I had to look
Okay.
carefully at the symbols or the name to know what it was. It's nice just to be able to look at the screen and just know, okay, they're playing a dragon deck. But I'm like, wait, oh, but I have to like give a little extra attention.
Yeah. And then, which that like seems like I don't know if that's a glitch or I don't know what's going on with that. But then, oh, also I've had, so there's like an effect. I think when like Terra Pokemon enter play or something, there's some like effect. But anyways, that effect's now happening in the deck. Sometimes at the start of games, my opponent's deck and my deck will like have this like flash in them, and sometimes like every time I open up the deck, which is something that's happened before, like there's like an effect that pops up or just some like weird stuff. So some unfortunate visual glitches.
Well, yeah, and maybe they're glitches. Sometimes there's like these weird little effects that happen during games when Pokemon go move in and out and stuff. Which I just assume it's the designers have decided to do something I don't understand. Which it could be, or it could be a glitch too. You know, it's just best to ignore things like that. I would say.
Yeah, but overall, I feel like I've noticed more with the update. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like a lot of the times with new set updates, they're changing more things, so then there are more potential issues and just like kind of weird stuff going on. But the game, in terms of like the actual gameplay, it's felt like fine. I haven't noticed more glitches. And we're going to talk about the previous trainer trial, which was, I guess, glitched. I don't know. It was like a big mess. But I feel like the new cards have like worked fine. There's not as many or like as complicated ones, but they seem to be working fine.
Yeah, I mean the last one, well, the Mega Gengar, which is
Oh, yeah,
not
that one.
what's that?
I forgot about that one. Yeah, that one didn't work right.
And that's what kind of part of the set. It was a separate item, right? So it actually came out a little before the set. I guess it's also in the set. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, it's in the set.
it's in this set. But also it was a deck you could buy a little before. and they released it. It obviously being a big thing. You could buy the product. You could also craft the card too, which is usually the more economical way to do it in game. But then it kind of broke the game, right? That was the one where it reduced prize cards, right? I believe, if I'm trying to remember
Yeah.
what Mega Gengar, and I think it would stack and it would kick into it in at times it wasn't supposed to and stuff. I believe is what it did, and I think it took them a little. It always takes some time to sort these things out.
Yeah, and this is something that there are other effects like it. Uh, I'm not so sure about the stacking one, but there are certainly effects like I mean, it's tied to knockout, so
Yeah.
it's tied to knockout from damage, which like most things related to this are, like uh, I mean, like Pheasant Nifty EX, you could say, is kind of tied to that. So, or wait, no, that's not. That's tied to knockout, but there's like I don't know. There's a bunch of cards like that. I'm trying to think of a particularly good one, but yeah. Regardless, that's like not so good that they messed that up. But that, as you were saying, was like kind of part of the set, but like released before the set, so not really what we're talking about today. But today, I think the first thing I want to talk about is the trainer trial that we had at the end of last, like the one that just wrapped up, which I'll quickly read.
Well, hang on, hang
Where
on. It's just
Mhm.
so because we were talking about the trainer trials for the new set. So there were three trainer trials last time. Three, which we'll see, are similar. There was first a Mega Singleton Showdown, Gym Leader Challenge, which is the one they do every time, and then Trick or Treat, which is the last one, which is the one you want to talk about.
Yeah, wait, have they done trick or treat literally every time, or
No,
I thought
Trick
there
or
was a time
Treat.
they
I
did?
think this
Or
might be the
no, sorry, I
first.
mean Gym Leader Challenge.
I
Have they done that literally
think
every time?
so. I could be wrong. I could, but that's the one they've certainly seen the most play. I think it's been in every one. Maybe they skipped one. I don't know. People can let us know in the comments if it missed, uh, a set or at all.
Yeah, and like the space between the sets isn't like even, so it is kind of it's a little weird. But regardless, so the trick or treat one, obviously, I think it's officially called Tricks and Treats Tussle, which, by the way, is like a weird format name. Like Trick or Treat makes sense, obviously themed around Halloween, which is when it was around,
Yep.
around that time. And it was, I'll just read it here. It says the card pool is expanded, and then the trial rules are that the decks must include exactly 4 rare candy and 4 switch. This, I think, both of our initial impressions were it's kind of boring, right?
Yeah. Now let me
Be-
ask you this, because I think you might have explained it so I understood it. The rare candy is a treat. Is the switch doesn't seem like that much of a trick? I gotta say.
yeah, I think it has to do with I heard someone say that in Japan they say it's Switch, or something like that. That being said, like, well, Pokemon is from Japan. Live actually isn't. Um, I mean, I don't exactly know what would be more of like a trick. I'm trying to think. Like, you don't actually give people tricks on Halloween, right? So,
No, it's what you say. I mean, I guess maybe with Japan, but yeah, the funny, right? They actually you can't play live in Japan. Not only it's actually not you're not allowed to do it, right? Not unless you do something to circumvent the rules.
yeah, I mean, it's just, it's made by TPCI, which is the international company, which is the one. I mean, there's the Pokemon company, which is in Japan, and they have a lot of different things. There's just a bunch of differences there, including like new sets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But regardless, yeah. So this is that's the format, except that's not the format because they presumably messed it up. I've heard very little talk about it. Um, Someone in like one of my
Yeah.
comment sections said like I got a comment that was like, oh, people have like been talking about it a bunch, but I got one comment about that, and all the other comments were like, oh, this is interesting. I've not like heard about this. In terms of playing, so I'll just say what the glitch is. So the glitch or the thing is, it's that they actually didn't have any cards banned. So when it says card pool expanded, that's actually wrong. It's actually Sun and Moon On, which is what Live has. And they unbanned stuff like Scoop Up Nat. And then also you could play multiple like ace specs in your deck, limited to the amount of ace specs you have, which is actually limited by like the number of arts and stuff. But regardless, I think it also applied to Radiance, but I didn't try that. But ultimately, yeah, it was like really chaotic with the lack of bans. Except the people I played against didn't really do this. I saw one person do it in all of my games, which was near the end. I didn't play it like I played it a good amount, but as I said, I only saw one person using the either a banned card or multiple ace specs, other than myself or you, which we like didn't. play against each other or anything like that.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting, but it's very like strange. It feels very unintentional, and it feels weird that they didn't like fix it either.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made a video with using all every ace spec in your deck, or at least all the ones that you can play in the live expander. You can't play like computer search and stuff; they're not implemented yet. So, which I think was not a good deck, right? Because it was too good cards, but too many, and therefore not enough space for other cards. I think, right? That's how
Yeah.
that went for you. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. There are some like interesting cards. Like if you look at all the ace specs, you can see. How do I see this? It's just gonna give me the ace specs. Yeah. So there are cards like I mean, obviously Versus Seeker, not legal and full expanded. But there's an ace spec that's a little bit stronger than Versus Seeker, so
yeah,
it's kind of fun. Master Ball is like a better ball search card. So it wasn't like horrible. It was, I'd say, okay. I definitely wouldn't say it's a lot better than a deck with just like an optimized deck with one ace
right.
spec. But it was like a little worse, but not that much worse.
Yeah, I mean, built a deck after I heard about it from you. First, I wanted to do Scoop Up Net, so I did the Intelligent Engine because that's really great with that. But then I put eight ace specs in, which definitely made the deck better, all in
Yeah.
all. So, because I could pick and choose the ones that worked well. So, obviously, it's. I'm pretty sure that you weren't supposed to do it. I didn't see any reports on the bug section in the live forums. It could be that most people weren't aware of it. I guess the other thing is you do have to get your forum posts approved, so they live could have just decided not to approve any of those comments. But I also didn't see outside of you had the video on it. I didn't see any real content out there by people on that bug in that trick or treat trainer trial.
Yeah, and I feel like, sometimes creators like don't really care that much about live because I mean we're kind of talking today about some issues with live. But I mean they play on live, right?
Yeah,
And if there's interesting stuff they like to cover it. And sometimes people are scared of like getting in trouble, which I mean I don't know if um I should have been using it or not. I did because I felt like it was fun. People enjoyed the videos and I think everyone was cool with it because it's like kind of fun. Also, I'd feel worse if people were like playing, like really trying. Like this feels kind of mean to say, but like a lot of almost all the decks I played against were like really bad, and my opponents were also not good. So
yeah,
I don't know. It was like I feel like I mean with trainer trials, it's a more I mean it's literally casual, right? There's
yes,
casual and competitive or whatever. The trainer trials are only casual, which I think is fine. I personally, I mean, I play on, or it's ranked, right? I play on ranked and standard,
yeah,
but like I don't know. I'm not someone who really likes a ranking system that much. I don't play on ranked because of the ranking. I play because I feel like that's where I find more enjoyable matches. But
yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, overall, I'd say that. I mean, people don't play the trainer trial that much. I was finding matches for the tricks. What's it? Tricks
Trick
and
or it
treats
says trick or
hustle. I think.
treat on the page that I see.
Yeah, I think that's not the official name. I mean, I was looking up the format to try to find info about it online. I couldn't really find it, but I think there's some different names. But yeah, ultimately, there were people playing it. In terms of the format, ignoring the bug, it's pretty boring. It's like, oh, play a stage two. I think to me, it was just play a stage two deck with Jirachi. That's kind of my idea. Like Jirachi from Team Up, it's a card that gets you a trainer from the top five cards of your deck if it's in the active, and it puts itself to sleep. So then you need to like switch out, and then it works pretty well with the stage twos as well. So I think all the decks that were like legitimately using it were decks playing what was I gonna say playing Jirachi.
Okay.
But ultimately, the format's like kind of meh. And then if you're playing a deck that's like doing something silly, you might not even like use the rare candies. There were some funny interactions, or like interesting things, not like glitches. Like for example, Megaton Blower, not a particularly good card. Actually, like good and full expanded, but I saw someone play that. I was playing Vikavolt where I attached Charger Bugs. They like Megaton Blowered off my um
The
Charger
charge.
Bugs.
It's
It didn't
funny.
really do anything. I mean, it like did something, but yeah, just like a funny interaction. Also, that deck, this was like the only deck playing, as I said, multiple ace backs. And their deck, so if you know me, I think Monkey Door is like kind of not like bad, but like overrated. And then recently I made a video on saying that 06 Machinations is the most overrated card in the game. And they were playing both of those, and they didn't do very much for them. So I just want to point that out. But yeah, I mean it was a fun format, but it was fun kind of because it was broken. And if everyone was playing the optimal list, um, it's not fun. And if everyone's playing bad lists, it's also not fun.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk. Yeah, I'm just give a few comments on the trainer trials in general. We're going to talk about the new ones, so maybe this might be part of the transition to that. I don't know, but it's not. It's a small set of people doing it. At times I've had problems finding matches. Most of the time I can find a match, though I will say that. But it's a small set of people. I've had times I've also matched up to the same person back to back games in trainer trials.
Yeah.
I remember it because it was a deck I was weak to, and basically, if they set up, it was like it was a loss. It was pretty much a hard loss for me. And they would flip the coin, go first, or they went second, and they would set up their deck, and it was just and I keep seeing them. So anyway, but that's what it is. The fun thing is the formats are a little weird when we talk about them. They're not great, I would say, but the fun thing is you're deck building on the fly, so you have to want to deck build. You need to have a good sense of cards both, which is easy for standard, I think, for me and for most people, or at least okay. For expanded, it's harder, especially because it's the live truncated format. You can't find deck lists out there, so you have to be someone that wants to build deck lists. You're going up against other people building decks. And so the decks aren't the best anyway, because without that feedback of playing other people and stuff regularly and seeing some data out there about how people do, you don't optimize them. But I would say players often are playing some pretty sketchy decks a lot of times in trainer trials, probably because that's what the type of people that are drawn to playing trainer trials. They like to play the fringe things, I suspect.
Sketchy as in like weird rogue decks, or sketchy like decks playing some random assortment of Pokemon,
Uh,
or like a meta deck built like
more
badly.
random cards, like just
Okay.
more, like how many draw three supporters do you need in decks and stuff like that, which often seem to happen. I go, wait, why is that card, and why they're playing this darkness Pokemon, and now they're playing this lateness Pokemon, and I don't see any synergy. Maybe there's something beyond what I can get, but they just took 8 turns the game over 8 turns of the game, and they never developed. So they played like draw three supporters like 3 times. So it probably is just a bad deck, that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like obviously it's you want to everyone should be able to play the game at
Yeah,
any skill level. Ideally, the matchmaking should be again of people of the same skill level, to the best of its ability. It
yeah,
might be doing that. I don't actually know if it's doing that. I hope it is, but even if it is, again, it's like kind of hard to find matches. I mean, you were telling me, and I guess we're kind of transitioning, as you said, to the
yeah,
current one, like you were playing today, and you couldn't find any matches.
yeah.
I was playing like one of the other day, and I couldn't really find matches very easily either. So I've definitely found some issues with matchmaking. It kind of depends on the time of day. I guess I haven't really paid too much attention to when I can and can't find matches, but I've definitely had some issues with it.
Yeah, in terms of matchmaking, two things. One, in terms of the casual, even with standard, which obviously it's easy to find matches in standard. Occasionally, I will do the casual standard if I have something really sketchy I'm trying out. I don't do that often. Usually, I jump into the ranked anyway. But sometimes, if I'm getting beat up by meta decks with what I'm playing, I will do that the casual standard, and I find matches. I think it might be just really random and casual anyway. But even in ranked, because things recently reset with the rank ladder, I was playing like the second day, and I have been doing some trainer trials partly because it's fun to do and because we're going to talk about it. I'd only played. I was still at maybe it was the second day. I think I had maybe won one game in standard. I was at 30 or 40, and my opponent the second day was like 300. And there had to have been a lot of people closer. And I'm just thinking, even like two. If I don't play much standard ranked, I will stay, like less than 100, and I'll be playing people at 400 on a regular basis. So I don't even think in ranked that the matchmaking's all that good. I got to say, from my experience.
Yeah, I mean, it could be against people. It could be like using a hidden matchmaking system, which in some ways like makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be like, if I've been like, if there's like someone who's been taking like a little bit of time off, you don't want to like pair them against like some new player. Um, I mean, ultimately, if you're like a brand new player, you're gonna probably be losing matches.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be playing against other brand new players, and not that you're gonna be losing like all of them, but you're just gonna it's gonna take some time to like figure things out. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I feel like the matchmaking system. I mean, I don't really see too many people like low ranks. I'm generally lower than most of my opponents. I mean, I don't play. I actually don't play like as much live as people probably think I do. I don't play that
Mhm.
much. It kind of depends, but also you don't, I believe, reset all the way to the bottom now
I think you.
if you're at
Oh yeah,
like
if
a
you're up
certain
high
level.
enough, yeah, you only drop so many tiers. I don't
But
remember.
it's like a lot. It's like half the tiers or something.
Yeah.
So because I wasn't like grinding to Arceus or Master or whatever it's called, um, because I don't know, I just didn't feel like it. So I feel like the matchmaking's like not. I don't know. I mean, I want to give the benefit of the doubt, but I can't really do that, right? With live.
Yeah, and we don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, programming wise, it's been a struggle with them, and also, and they really are not transparent at all about how the matchmaking works, as far as I know. I don't have any idea what the matchmaking is. I think they said there's once you're in Arceus League, it's a different matchmaking system, but what that means for either case before Arceus League or in Arceus League, I'm not fully clear.
Yeah, I think Arceus League uses an actual like an elo system,
Yeah,
um, and then you're like paired based on that. Uh, yeah, I don't know how many people are in Arceus League. Arceus League isn't like if you grind and you play like good decks,
yeah,
or you're good, it's like not that hard to get into, but it also is a good chunk of time. And personally, I don't find it. I mean, I enjoy playing with and against my deck some, but I enjoy weird stuff a lot as well. If you've seen my channel or other channels, you know that. But yeah, I don't know how many like people actually grind a lot. I know some people like definitely do though. But um, I know some people like I think grind to it as well and then just like stop. Or I think they do. I've done that in the past. But ultimately, yeah, I mean the matchmaking system. If there's not that many people, it doesn't really matter. So, but this Drea trial, I guess we haven't actually talked about
yeah.
what it is. I think you mentioned. I don't even know if you've mentioned what it is. But so it's the Mega Singleton Showdown, which we saw previously with the Mega format or with Mega Evolution, but now it's here, and it's a format which we actually talked about on the podcast a lot before, but it's within standard, and then only one copy of each card except for basic energy, so singleton. Obviously, it's in the name, and then also your deck must include exactly one Mega Evolution. This is obviously to kind of highlight the new Mega Evolution mechanic. We've also compared it to Commander in Magic the
Right.
Gathering, which is the most popular TCG format. Is that true?
I
Within all
don't.
of TCGs?
Maybe. Well, it's not you. It's not very popular online, right? Because the main Magic the Gathering format or client arena doesn't do it. There's an older client that they still keep around on the online client that does do it, but I don't think as many people play that. But yeah, a lot of people play Commander IRL. I think it's a really good friend casual type of gameplay. And also because Magic, like Pokemon, is a two-person game, but with Commander you can play with like a group of four people, which is nice for like it kind of gets that board game socialization.
Yeah, one thing with the casual aspect, it is something that a lot of new people are like introduced to. I mean, I don't really play Magic, but I play a little bit of Commander. Actually, I play online on Tabletop Simulator. Again, I play it very, very little, but mostly just kind of to like get some ideas for Pokemon. But anyways, it's like really it's kind of difficult for new people, right? Because it's singleton
Right.
and you're actually have bigger decks as well. But like it's singleton, so everyone's got like all these different cards, and there's so many people. And it's also there are banned cards, but I believe it's from any era of the game. So there's just a lot of weird stuff going on that's kind of hard to keep track of all the time. And I guess I'll mention the next one right now as well, GLC. The GLC is, I believe it's directly inspired by Commander, though I'm not 100% sure on that. But here on live, it's Sun and Moon on, so it's like the expanded card pool. There's a different set of bands. It's a popular fan format, and it's a format that it's singleton as well. It's also monotype, which is a bit more similar to Commander, I
Yeah.
guess. And then there's it's also non-rule box, so like no EX and stuff like that. And then is that everything? I
Oh,
think that's everything.
for GLC, you mean?
G- yeah.
I mean, just in live, just the one thing is back in the old client PTCGO, you could play GLC with friends, and they could run tournaments on the client with live. You can't. It's only casual. These are only casual formats, so you can't actually do friends match, which is unfortunate. And you can't, even if you wanted to do it, like if you and I wanted to test out some GLC decks against each other, we can't do it because it's beyond the standard card pool. We could test out our Mega Singleton Showdown decks with each other because that's restricted to the standard card pool. So we could do that with friends match, but you can't something like with GLC or with the last format as well. You can't do that out with a friend.
Yeah. Oh, but so then I'm gonna get back to the casual thing in just a second,
Yeah.
but with GLC, it was actually with the PTCG, Pokemon TCG Online thing. It was actually made specifically, like more or less to be played on Pokemon TCG Online. And
Okay.
then yeah, as you're saying, or it was made during that era. I'm pretty sure that was part of the idea behind it. Was why the cutoff was where it was. But actually, no, the cutoff could have been a year earlier because Pokemon TCG Online had Heart Gold, Soul Silver. But anyways, yeah, I mean it's obviously not playable on live normally. But oh, and this is going to be here for, so there are 12 weeks. We have 2 weeks of the Mega Singleton Showdown, which is the first format that we currently have right now. There are then 6 weeks of Gym Leader Challenge and then
Yep.
4 weeks of Buddy Buddy Battle. Which is the last one we'll get to at the end. But ultimately, yeah, GLC is in terms of a casual format and comparing it to Magic's Commander, which again, it's like very popular, and I think something that um, certain Pokemon fans and like the creators of Pokemon and the people like working on formats are kind of striving to create, is it is like it kind of self balances because it is for people. So if one person has a stronger deck, they can like kind of team up on them in like a way that can be fun. Um, which you don't have here. And also, you're playing generally with your friends in the more casual formats. But here, you're not. Literally can't do friends matches. And so you're playing against random people. If you want to play against random people, you want to have a chance to compete. In order to have a
Yeah.
chance to compete, you need to be playing realistically the strongest deck you can. It doesn't need to be like literally the best of the best of the best, but it needs to be like quite good. So then people are playing like powerful stuff. Well, theoretically, as I was saying, like we've seen some not good stuff in the formats, but in GLC, I mean, GLC is very different. So it's also a format you need to go out of your way more to do. So like the skill floor is higher than really any of the other formats. But regardless, it's uh, it's not like super casual. I think that's the biggest thing against GLC. I made a video a while ago, kind of criticizing GLC. I think I don't know. I spent a lot of time on it. I don't think I explained my points very well. But long story short, I feel like it isn't the perfect casual format. It's a cool format, but it's kind of it's a lot for new players, right? Because I feel like,
Yeah.
or even veteran players, like you said you've struggled to build decks for it. I mean, I have a little, but
Right, and I done a decent amount of expanded too, and just trying to put together. Singleton is tricky, and I think hopefully I want to talk a little more about the current Mega Singleton Showdown as well. But Singleton formats, how to build those decks is very different, right? To get the consistency with the right draw trainers and such. You kind of need this template, and you need to know cards that you don't need that you're never really going to play in any standard or expanded format that you're just doing in singleton format. So you have to get to a point of knowing these things. So, and because they keep changing these trainer trials, it does make it a little tougher, right? Because you need to really have a broad knowledge to be able to comfortably build decks in constantly changing formats.
yeah, and it's something I personally really enjoy. I like deck building. I don't like. I'm not like the best deck builder. I guess I'm a decent deck builder in terms of coming up with concepts because I have like knowledge of cards, but I don't have. I'm not like the best player or the best just person at refining decks. So this suits me pretty well. But that's different than a lot of people. A lot of people. I mean, everyone has their different strengths and weaknesses and things they like and stuff like that. But um, yeah, also the formats in general like are kind of, I'd say they're a little boring, and I've heard this
Yeah.
feedback for the most part as well. They're kind of playing it safe, getting a little more interesting. I think as time's gone on though.
Right. I mean, GLC here out of 12 weeks is half the time. So, like I said, I think GLC has been used for every set. It maybe, if not, just about. In the amount, it's the percentage of the time seems to be is increasing. So they're really focusing. GLC is obviously popular. I mean, one of the things that Live needs, well, what Live needs to do to be fully accepted, besides get the bugs worked out, that's just a given, is they need to implement full expanded because people want that. I don't know if that's
Mhm.
the solution. But then related to that, they need to have GLC with the full card set, right? And until they do that, I think Live's always going to struggle for acceptance. I think.
Yeah, and speaking of the acceptance thing, I feel like in terms of like, because the Pokemon community, there's like different parts of it. The people who play live and people who play GLC are like very disjointed, on like pretty opposite ends, I think, of the Pokemon like community, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know, like it's not just some like spectrum of from live to GLC. I don't know where anything else would fall on that, but I feel like a lot of people who play GLC really don't like live, like just almost out of principle. And then I feel like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people who play live just, I mean, you can't play GLC on live, right? Long story
Right.
short, you can like play some variations of it sometimes. I guess you could always play standard GLC, but in terms of like the live GLC format that's sometimes available and it's not fully there. And I think that GLC in live is a format, or I think GLC is a format that wants the full card pool more than expanded does. I've heard a lot of people, as you're saying, people want full expanded. They kind of just say it. I feel like people say it just because like they hear other people say it. Because I haven't heard that many good reasons, or I don't know. I've heard more reasons against it than for it. Well, I don't know. I mean, full expand is kind of bad. Long story short, right?
I mean, a couple things. One, I think actually the expanded format Sun and Moon on is actually pretty good. The big problem is it's not because Pokemon thought it was a good idea. It's just they can't program in all the cards to work, right? So
Yeah.
that's the problem with it. With GLC, because it's a singleton format, those you need the consistency cards, right? The trainers, you need that expanded set of trainers and such. And because you only play one copy of those really strong cards, it's not as overpowered as it gets in regular expanded. So I agree about that. I think you're right about the GLC being more is not connected with live. Two thing I think GLC is intended to be a casual get together with friends format, which is which is IRL, not online anyway. And then the other thing is GLC, was developed by Andrew Mahone, and he is very anti-live, right? He's really doesn't like it. So therefore, people that follow Gym Leader Challenge fans are Andrew Mahone fans, and therefore going to most likely dislike live because that's the direction he's giving.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I actually don't watch that much Pokemon content. But yeah, yeah. I definitely like. I'm like vaguely aware of that.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah. So I will say GLC is like in terms of the people who play it. Also, I feel like they're more competitive players, and then live players are more casual. Um, anyway, so I guess we'll talk more about the current format being a like focused around a mega. It's one mega there.
Yeah.
It feels like your deck's supposed to be focused around it, but in terms of actually playing it, I feel like your deck doesn't actually need to be focused around it. I'll just say the one I've been playing and the mega I've seen the most. I've only played a handful of games, but I've seen most people playing Mega Kangaskhan EX. Mega Kangaskhan EX is it's the best mega, I think. Like I don't really think there's too much argument about that. It's colorless, so it can go in any deck. It's a card that, or theoretically could go in any deck. For here, it can. And then it's a card that like draws you some cards. It's a decent attacking option. Has lots of HP. Checks all the boxes. It's a basic.
Yep.
So it's just like it's good. And then you can like kind of build whatever you want around it. The list I have here, that I've been playing a little bit has like a Dragapult and some like basics, some like Terra boxy stuff. I don't know if it's like particularly good really at all, but it's kind of fun. Ultimately though, I feel like the decks aren't really built around the mega. If they are, I mean, the mega can get like knocked out. None of the megas are super versatile. I wouldn't say. Um, yeah, I mean, like it's cool as a concept, I guess, but I feel like in terms of execution, I mean, we talked about this before, when it came out for the first time, and we kind of agreed that it would be better if it was the rest of the cards were all single prizes, so that your mega would be a card you need to build around more, um, which would be make it more interesting as opposed to just like singleton standard. Yeah, except for singleton standard.
I think if it was one mega, only one rule box Pokemon, which had to be a mega, would be more interesting. The deck which I built originally was a Mega Lucario deck. I still think that might actually be the better Mega deck. I don't know, just because there's the good fighting support and good fighting Pokemon, but in the deck, then like with that one, like you slap Pheasantipity basically in every deck. So if you couldn't slap Pheasantipity in, that would be a good thing. Things like you can slap in Blood Moon or Saluna EX as well. Things like that. Would it just be better if you have to go single. In terms of the new one, I went with the other colorless Pokemon. It was the deck I played is Mega Lopunny EX because I like that attack. You're switching in attack, and you in it. So and then in color again, it's colorless, which is nice. And then built a colorless deck around it. That's it's probably not a great deck, but I did the. I've won when I've played with it. So, but that I'm playing Oink alone and Terapagos in Blissey and Pidgeot EX. So, as well as
Yeah,
Dojo because you got to play Dojo in a colorless deck, especially in a singleton format. If I'm building it, um,
yeah. I mean, your deck doesn't have to be focused around that type,
no,
right?
no, it just makes it easier conceptually for me. Some
Yeah,
because that's a colorless, and then the other deck which I built today and I was hoping to play in is a grass deck, a healing grass deck. So it's got a lot of healing cards. So I don't know that it's going to work well because I put in like 8 to 12 healing cards. Like was like one of my first moves, which makes your deck space pretty sketchy. But it's fun to do with Mega Venusaur EX. With that guy, he's tanky. You can move your energy, and then and since it was grass energy, then I kept a grass focused deck because it's not a bad set of stuff. So I get to play the Ludicolo, which I think that's a new card as well, right? Some
yeah.
for some healing, and there's what's that? There's another healing one. Oh, Shuckle can heal and stuff. So some Pokemon. Plus, there's a decent number of supporters, even items that do healing in the game. So I get to play things like Cook and stuff. So which I don't get to play often. So I'll see. I do want to see how this deck goes to see if it works at all.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be like okay. I don't know. I feel like the decks in this format I've seen, as well as there was like Singleton Standard
Yeah.
a little while ago. I assume this is just kind of replacing that. But the decks are like okay. They're kind of hit or miss, as in not like whether the decks like I don't know, you can like miss setting up, because
Yes.
in Singleton, you still want a similar distribution of things. Um, Kind of the fun of it is that then your decks are all kind of toolboxy, which isn't something that everyone likes, but it's something that I think is cool. But then you need search options, right? And
Yeah.
then standard, you have some, you could play like Nest Ball, Ultra Ball. Wait, this deck. Oh, apparently this one doesn't play Ultra Ball. I don't think.
Really?
Which
Wow.
seems bad. But anyway, so you have like Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, those kinds of cards. And wait, please, Buddy Buddy Poffin only is two Pokemon. Okay, whatever. I like threw this deck together. But anyways, there's like not that many search options. Because normally there's like a few, and you put like 4 copies of like two of them in your deck, and that's like good.
Right.
But yeah, you can't do that here. So that's why you look at like the larger card pool to make it a little more um interesting, even if you have like just enough. Because right now you have like less than enough. You're
Yeah.
playing some weird cards, which is kind of fun.
Yeah,
But that means that your deck like just doesn't set up as well sometimes.
yeah, I mean, two things. One, don't if you're playing it, don't when you don't set up, don't concede like on turn two because your opponent's probably not gonna set up. Sometimes they'll set up and start mowing you down, and you're like 2 or 3 turns away from setting up. I get it that you concede, but people will still concede quickly because they think they should set up like a standard deck. It's just not going to, and your opponent's going to struggle too. Even if they set up, once you knock out their one Pokemon, they might not get set up again for another 3 turns after that because there's randomness. I think it's a little too inconsistent, and that's where the standard card pool is a bit of a problem. I mean, yes, like I'm looking at like Pokemon Search, which is like how do you get that? You have Buddy Buddy Pop, and of course Nest Ball, Ultra Ball. Normally that's like that's like your whole Pokemon Search. I played Great Ball, Dusk Ball in these decks pretty much in all of them because they're good for that. We got that new supporter that's really good, which is what's it called? The one that gives for a basic.
Dawn,
What's that? Yeah,
Dawn, the basic
Dawn.
stage ones too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'd probably even put it in a deck that doesn't play a stage two because you just need Pokemon Search, right? It's very limited, so you need cards like Dawn. I wouldn't do it in an all basic deck, but anything beyond that, I probably do. And even so, you need some of those Pokemon, like the supporter that gets what 1 basic or 2 evolutions, things like that. They all
Um,
go in the deck
yeah.
basically because you need it. And then switching options are limited too because what do you do? So like this deck list, I'm playing Search Surfer, which I probably would consider putting in a lot of decks because you just need some search, some switch, and some draw. It's in a standard regular deck, you almost never play it. But I mean that's the fun to the format is you get to play these probably like C or D tier cards, right? Like Surfer is like a D tier card probably.
Uh, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know where the
I mean Surfer, which
exactly what like a
well
generic
for
D tier
yeah,
supporter means,
I
but
mean,
yeah.
and just in case people don't remember what Surfer does, because you don't see it much, you switch your Pokemon, and then you draw to 5 cards in hand. So, which
Yeah, only if you switch. So
if
if
you
you
switch,
can't
right?
switch,
Yeah, if you only have an active Pokemon in only 1 card in hand, you can't play the Surfer to draw 5 cards. So, which is and drawing to 5 cards in hand's not great anyway. But when you only have this is like my second or third switching card in the deck, so you start to think, okay, maybe I want that. So. But like I said, I mean, Surfer's not better than a C tier card. I can't imagine, right? Um,
yeah.
so it's fun to play these cards, but it is like with the trainers when I built the deck, there's like a couple hundred, it's a little over 200 trainers I think in format right now, and I can just select the trainers and I can scroll through the list of trainers in like 10 minutes just to look through because there's like when I'm building a deck, I'm not thinking, oh, do I need Surfer for switching? Because I forget Surfer exists or other cards like that, right? So I kind of need to go through them to remember. And it's hard for the Pokemon because I can't go. There's too many Pokemon to scroll through. So that's why I kind of tend to be monotype because I can like look through, say, all the colorless Pokemon. I can look through all the grass Pokemon. I at this point, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna look through all the Pokemon in format to pick like the very best list possible.
Yeah, and then now actually I want to mention something else because the commander format, going back to that idea, there was a
Yeah,
website EDHREC, and there's like certain searching tools where you can like see like good versus bad cards. So you can like look for like you want a card that does something like a switch or whatever, and then you can look at the like maybe 100 most popular cards or however many. You can just like start from the top and scroll down, which is
mm,
kind of cool. Um, and that's something that I've actually kind of wanted to make for Pokemon, but I don't know if I will. I don't know how useful it would be and how hard it would be. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of cool to do some weird deck building stuff. I'm just looking at this. I play time in this list, which is bad but funny. And then you play some cool cards, but also you come up kind of short in terms of having what you want. Unlike in,
yeah,
in GLC, where the pool is bigger, um, where even in like live GLC the pool's bigger. Wait, is it bigger? I actually don't know, because it's monotype, so it might depend on the type you choose. But anyways, I feel like like in full GLC and like if it was like expanded singleton, then with the singleton format, you then have more interesting options for trainers. It's not like all the trainers are like amazing, but there are some powerful ones. I mean, we're getting like a new one, which is the new item, which is like absurdly good for GLC. It just search for any Pokemon. Well, it's for any non-Roblox Pokemon, which is
yeah.
any Pokemon in GLC. But ultimately, I was gonna say. yeah, like with the larger card pool, I think that that's good for Singleton to kind of balance things out there. Um, but
Yeah.
overall, I think the format's kind of cool, but still coming up a little short. And it doesn't highlight the megas in the way it feels like it's kind of supposed to.
Correct. It should be. I mean, if they want to highlight the megas, they probably should say you pick one mega, you play four copies of it. Then you're going to build the deck around that mega, right?
Yeah,
But I don't know if that'd be better, but I think the reason why they don't want to make it expanded format, at least the possible reason, is because if you need to know the expanded card pool if you're going to build a singleton deck and expand it, unless it's already a struggle probably for a lot of people to build a singleton deck in standard. While yes, it would be a better deck if in the expanded if you had the bigger card pool, people are going to struggle to know. They're not going to have an entry point into it, so people are going to be probably scared off from doing it more. So that's my guess of their thinking.
yeah, and along that same line, involving other formats, I've seen like some of them, like in the I'm trying to think of the formats. I can't really think of them, but like a lot of people are just playing decks that are like pretty much standard decks. I mean, if you like play like expanded, you might just see people playing standard decks, which like you shouldn't do. I mean, you
Yeah.
can do what you want to do, but like if you're playing a standard deck, you should probably be playing standard. And if you want to play expanded, then try it out. It's cool, but ultimately, people just like do things that they feel that are like easier sometimes because it is really difficult to deck build when you like don't know the card pool. And the bigger the card pool, the more issues there are
Yeah, I
with that.
mean, because the other casual format, there is standard and casual, but there's expanded and casual, and it's not, and that's the only way to play expanded. That's always there, and I would say about 25% of the time when I play it, and I like expanded. It's fun. I think about 25% of the time I'm up against an actual standard deck. Like I never see any card that's not in standard, and probably another 25% of the time it's like a deck that's like 90 to 95% a standard deck, and then they wanted to say, oh, I want to add this or that card, so they added one or two cards in the deck, which is fine, but obviously it's far from optimized for the expanded format.
Yeah, and it's like you could definitely have a more fun experience playing presumably playing a deck with some more different options because people definitely get like kind of sick of standard. I know it's not just us, and
Yeah.
the other formats can. I think that's like the best part about alternate formats is that you can kind of have a break from standard, which can be cool. But yeah, I mean overall, I don't think there's too much else to say about this format. It's like it's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like we can pivot more to GLC, which we've been like kind of talking about. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities there. Um, Looking at GLC in live being limited to what was I gonna say
Sun and
to
Moon on.
yeah, there we go. So Sun and Moon on is the Pokemon in Black and White and X and Y are generally like weaker. Also, the sets are smaller. So the main thing that's missing are some trainers, which are powerful but like fun, and like balanced. I think, or I don't know if balanced, but they're like okay slash good for the format. Like versus Secret Battle Compressor. I guess Hexamaniac. I don't like Hexamaniac personally, but because I find it like annoying. I mean, it's ability lock, right? I feel like most people don't like it, but it does legitimately add some really interesting gameplay options there. But anyways, I feel like those cards are cool. And then decks just feel like a little they feel like they're just a little inconsistent because they're lacking some of these cards. You're losing some interesting options there. And then it's not like there are really these like annoying cards being added to the format that much. Unlike full expanded, so the reason, long story short, that I think full expanded is worse than live expanded in terms of card pool is that there's a lot of like ability lock and item lock stuff, which is really really powerful. And kind of annoying. Also, double dragon energy, I guess. Double dragon energy is kind of broken in full expanded. I don't know if it's unfun, but it's really powerful. The decks it's played in, they're like most of the best decks. But anyways, GLC isn't to that same degree, but some decks are really like neutered, like Dragon without double dragon energy, or things like that. Some decks just like really feel not like terrible, but just disappointing, which isn't ever a feeling you're looking for.
Yeah, and we talked about with the problem with like the current standard format singleton challenge. you're limited to get you just don't have consistency because you don't get the trainer pool that you want. So it is better getting for GLC. Obviously, has the back to Sun and Moon, but I think GLC would it benefits from getting even a few more trainers to choose from. I think right, and even and some cards might be overpowered, but again, it's only one copy of, so for the most part it's okay with it. Like Double Dragon, which in full expanded because they have the tournaments in Japan, and you can see the results. It's just too right. The Dragon decks because of Reggie Drago is just crazy powerful because they get that with the Double Dragon. But if you only have one Double Dragon energy in a deck, it's good for the deck, but it's not making the deck crazy good either.
Um, Wait,
In
GLC.
GLC,
Yeah,
if you only have one copy of Double Dragon, it's probably a good, fair, balanced way that things are.
I get. I mean, I'd say specifically with that one, Double Dragon Energy is like still really powerful. It
Yeah,
makes things a little more swingy, but yeah, I was also looking at a GLC list, and fighting is actually very good, especially now with Lunto and Soul Rock,
yeah,
and it's running very few older cards. I mean, again, the Pokemon they're just objectively weaker in terms of their like attacks. Their abilities though sometimes can be pretty good here, but we don't see any Pokemon that are older than the Sun and Moon era. There are a few trainers though, and I guess the special energy is strong energy as well, which is kind of cool. Two of the trainers are item lock, or no, sorry, not item lock, ability lock, and then also one of the trainers is Tropical Beach, which should be banned. I stand by the fact that Tropical Beach should be banned. It should be banned expanded. It should be banned in should be banned in well, I guess it's banned in live, but it's because it's like very difficult to obtain.
yeah.
So I'd say it's like not fair. Not because it's overpowered or underpowered. It's actually a cool card. But it just you can't get it. Or actually no, it shouldn't be banned. It should be reprinted. But I don't think it's gonna get reprinted. Like reprinted as like a normal card.
Right.
Anyways, rant aside. I mean, there's some cool things you can do in GLC, in like full GLC that you can't do in live. Decks just feel a little more complete there. Like you see Team Magma's Great Ball. This card uh, searches a fighting energy, I guess, off of uh, a ball search card. It doesn't like actually. I mean, it does other stuff, but like what it does here is it's like interesting card with like ball guy and stuff. So there's just some like fun little weird things you can do that are really interesting. The Hexamaniac thing again, it is ability lock. I generally don't like ability lock, but it definitely leads to some really interesting comeback situations, and things that just make the format feel more fair. I will say GLC. I play like full GLC a good amount. I don't play it that much. Um, but like I had played it some, right? I mean, my channel started as a GLC channel. Or was my first video a GLC video? I don't remember, but I did a lot of that, and the GLC is like it has still kind of the same issue of decks like kind of set up or like don't set or they like sometimes set up and then you just kind of roll away uh, with things or you like don't set up more so than standard, uh, and that's even more the case with a more limited card pool.
Yeah, I mean that's the nature of Singleton, right? Things are swingier. Often you can be the first person to set up, just as gonna roll over, right? You can set up in the other you if your opponent sets up, you might be take 3 or 4 turns before you finally get the cards set up. So it's just swingier, right? Which you have to decide whether that's a good or bad thing. I think it might get a little too swingy for me, but that's a taste question is what that comes down to. As I'm looking at like this fighting deck, yeah, the one might be the deck list you looked at playing Silent Lab. I'm glad like we don't have Silent Lab in live.
Yeah, and those cards are a lot better in a full or in expanded. I guess like Path is similar, and that's in Lab expanded. But ultimately, there's a bunch of cards like that. But in GLC, they're a smaller aspect versus like in full expanded, it's like Garbodor, Vileplume, uh, things like that. A lot of Garbodor, Wobbuffet, Badoo. Badoo's still in there, but it's like you got to deal with all of them.
Right, because you're hand picking all the best control cards ever printed, and while Pokemon always is trying to get away from it, and they ban some of those really strong control cards to an extent. They keep printing them, so there's a through the years there are just there's a number of like really strong cards that just kind of makes the game unless you want to play that type of deck, it's unfun to play against. And I don't some control up to a point is kind of what I like some control, but I don't like control to be as good as it is in full expanded.
Yeah, and in full expand, it's more like pseudo control. Actually, I mean, there are like legitimately, as you're saying, like absurdly powerful control cards or control cards paired with like absurdly powerful Pokemon. Um, I haven't really talked to people who actually play expanded right now. Um, but like it's I mean like looking at the Japanese tournaments in like top decks, it doesn't look great. Though some people definitely enjoy it, but ultimately I feel like oh and yeah, I'm just like looking here at another list. You have like the support card N, which is like Iono, but it's another copy, which is like cool. Wait a second. This list doesn't play Iono. Well, I still think they're both good. And so um that's something you could say like goes against the spirit of Singleton, but I mean, I feel like having good supporters, you have like a similar caliber or count of like good supporters. Um, you could have, you have like Lilies and Marnie and Research and N and Iono and like Raihan and Arvin and things like that. So you can still have like a similar deck feel in like that it feels like it sets up and you have what you're looking for, but you also have these different options and you just have like more different game experiences, which I think is like the good part about Singleton, where it's not like ideally your power level of your deck isn't like shifting wildly each game, but just the different interactions are a little different, creating for like a unique gameplay experience every time, which can be really cool. Same thing with like the search options and just all sorts of different things. You can do Scoop of Net, really really fun card there, and just a bunch of different things. But overall, I feel like GLC, like if it was fully in live and was a full form, because ultimately it's here for a while. It seems like they've been focusing on it a bunch. Um, if it's fully in live, I think that'd be cool. Um, I've seen some live GLC content. I haven't seen that much. I don't know. As I said, I don't like look at that much, though. I mean, certainly pay attention to it some. But I have seen some content. I actually comment down below as well as it's kind of like on the podcast. But comment down below if you want me or us to cover live GLC more. But yeah, I feel like there's some cool things. I don't know if you have anything else to add about that format.
No, well, just it would be nice if if they add GLC, which I think they should do, and I think they're heading that way because it's like if they keep pushing it for the trainer trials. Then I think you're gonna have to drop the trainer trials. I think if you had standard, expanded, and GLC, I think with the player base in live, I think that's about max formats in terms of getting good player base for each format. That's my sense.
Yeah, I more or less agree. I mean, I really enjoyed the Tran trials. Theoretically, I feel like they've been, um, mishandled a little bit. Not horrendously, but like, not amazingly. But I feel like most people like are mostly aware of standard. People aren't as aware of the
Yeah.
other formats. So if they push them more, that I think the number of players there could be more formats, maybe even like 5 formats, if it was evenly spread out. But it's like not evenly spread out at all.
No, and I know we're getting near the end. I think we've mentioned before. I think if they need to have some special rewards for trainer trials because then people will try them out more. Another thing I think, which I don't like, is you can't build decks for trainer trials outside of the current format. Um, like GLC, you can't build a GLC deck in live when GLC is not active, right? You can't stick those cards in, right, and such.
Yeah, I mean, you could stick it in if it's not if you don't have any band cards, you can make the deck expanded band cards. But
Right.
yeah, if you want to play ScoopNet, which I do, you do, then you can't do that.
Yeah, so they should at least, because I assume they know they're bringing GLC back like next time and such. You should be able to build it. Like if you want to play a format and it's only there for 2 weeks, I kind of want to work. Had wanted to like work on my Mega Singleton Showdown deck before. I know you can do it, but it's nice to be able to say, here's the format I want, and it makes sure that I'm following the right ban list and stuff. So it wouldn't be that hard to do. We know life struggles, but that they should bring that feature that you can build decks out. At other times you can at least build the deck even if you can't play it. It
Yeah. Oh, sorry. This is oh, you're saying something.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so this is like a little sidetracked a bit more before we spend a little bit of time on the last format here, which
Yeah,
is kind of boring. But we'll get into it a little bit. But ultimately, oh, so you were saying that you could like you could build Mega Singleton in standard, but presumably you want to like name it Mega Singleton and then the deck
yeah,
name. But the deck names are relatively short in my experience, not like horribly, but I've definitely run
yeah.
into issues. However, if you duplicate a deck, it says like that deck and then two at the end, so it can actually be longer than the full. like the max deck length, and you like can't you can if you delete it, you can't add it back. It's really weird. But anyways, did want to mention that just as like a random funny thing. Um, but moving on to the last format here, which is the Buddy Buddy Battle format. We kind of intentionally haven't spent that much time on it, or haven't left that much time for it. It's 3 weeks at the end here, and it's in the expanded card pool, common and uncommon only, which we had before, except cards on the expanded ban formats ban list are not allowed. Okay, so this one says that explicitly. So maybe that like it intentionally wasn't
Oh,
there one bans for the other one, but I assume the A spec thing definitely that one can't be right. That's literally on like a card rule. That's not a format rule. But
right. I mean, the trick or treat one, because they had to change the vet how they checked for validity of decks. I think, in the process, they got rid of stuff unintentionally. I suspect is what happened.
yeah. But anyways, that's a little interesting there. That's what we assumed, but it's also interesting that they explicitly stated it this time.
Yeah.
But then also only grass Pokemon, which is bad because the best format of the past or best card in the past format, which is like it, was Festival Lead, specifically with Diplin. Where is it? I need to find it. Diplin is a card that is very strong, allowing you to attack twice, and it does good damage, and it's uncommon, and it's grass. So everyone's going to be playing it. I heard a shocking amount of complaints about this card. I didn't see it too much. I saw some, but it's like super powerful and kind of annoying. And you're gonna see it all over the place because it's like I imagine by far the best option. You
Yeah,
know,
because the format before, and I don't remember what it was called last time. It was,
was it the CU Cup?
yeah, CU, because it was common and uncommon only. I think with the expanded balance, but it wasn't limited to one type. So I think I played um, a ancient box deck, which was okay. That was one of the better decks too. But the festival lead deck was the best deck, which is a grass deck. So therefore, yeah, essentially they seem like they're saying you're playing festival lead decks, right? You can't play the golden and the seeking, but that you can get around that, so that you'll be okay without that. So I think, yeah, unfortunately, I like these common uncommon formats. So in one sense, it's to me a very appealing format. But yeah, it may just be 4 weeks of festival lead, so it might end up not
Oh,
being
it's 4 weeks. Yeah.
very good.
Um, yeah. And also not being able to play the Seeking. I feel like that's an interesting card that adds more depth to the format. So you can't do that. So it's like very simple. It's like you're playing Thwacky, you're playing Diplin. You might put in Rabska. People are going to be playing Badoo.
Yeah.
And like the festival lead mirror is not even like interesting, like really at all. I'm pretty sure. You can maybe have extra HP with like Hero Escape or something, but that's not like that interesting. There's not really too much to the format, to be honest, or the matchup. As far as I'm aware, I haven't played that much, but yeah, it's definitely it's fun in standard because it's bad. But when it's good, it's not as like the magic wears off.
Yeah, I mean, in standard, it's a reach, right? Is what it is. So it's okay if you want to play it, because when it goes, it's great, right? The way because you're getting the cards whatever cards you want, so it's crazy good. But most of the time, it's not setting up here. It's going to set up. It's going to be whoever sets up first, and then I don't know. It's going to be, can you come up with a plan for what happened? How do you win the game when your opponent sets up first, right? And starts taking prizes first, because whoever gets set up, starts taking prizes, they're going to win the game probably 90% of the time, I would think, with these festival lead mirrors.
Yeah, especially because you're taking two knockouts, presumably every turn.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're really obliterating your opponent's board. I've compared it to Dragon Ball in the past. I think it has a lot of similarities there. It's really really difficult to deal with, just like really strong. Not like broken. I mean, this is probably better than Dragon Ball is in standard. But regardless, I think theoretically it's a cool concept, but they chose like the worst type. Um, Overall, I feel like the trainer trials are moving in an okay direction. I'm happy to see GLC getting a bit more focus. I mean, I think it needs to be like, as we're kind of talking, like the main thing. And we'll see if that ends up happening, and if people like what the community's response is, like how much they interact with GLC and stuff like that. But overall, I feel like there's some cool stuff here. There's some not cool stuff as well. Like lives in a mediocre place right now.
Yeah, it's kind of in a holding pattern, right? They fixed it for the most part, but I don't know that they're going to actually get it fully fixed, right? That's kind of a dream for someday. I think the positive with the trainer trials is that they're focusing on 3 formats for 12 weeks. I think you need time if people are going to do it to kind of get into it and develop and see how things are, see what other people are playing, make some new decks along the way, right? When it's only for 1 week or 2 weeks, everything, which is what they had been doing, it kind of went by too quickly, I think, unless you really wanted to grind deck building, which you're not a lot of people want to put that much. It's a lot of time to do that, right? To come up with new deck ideas every week or two with a brand new format. So I think it's better that they've slowed down the pace of the change. So that's a positive. And, I think they're getting a little bit better with the format. So slowly that's getting better.
Yeah, no twin battles, which twin battles is bad in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, it's boring for one thing. And yeah, it just didn't really bring any value or interest to things. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, tell us down below in the comment section if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, please also ideally comment on YouTube because we can't really see comments on other platforms. But yeah, comment down below if you have any thoughts, like if you hate that I don't like twin battles, or also you can check us out though on other platforms like Spotify and other ones. I don't actually listen to podcasts, but yeah, you can listen to us there. And if if that's the experience you're looking for, you can also check us out on YouTube as I said, on either 10 Types channel or Uncommon Fossils channel. But we hope you enjoyed, and as always, we're excited to see you in the next episode.
Take care.